There is a hidden connection that every human being carries within, a silent bridge between the restless mind and the eternal spirit. The secret bridge between mind and spirit is not merely a book, it is a journey inward, an awakening to the realization that we are not divided beings but unified expressions of divine consciousness. The author gently guides the reader through a path of remembrance, showing that the mind, though often seen as the source of confusion, can become the very instrument through which the spirit expresses clarity and peace. The story begins with the mind, the part of us that seeks control, that questions, fears, and plans. We live most of our days trapped in its constant chatter. It worries about the future, relives the past, and rarely rests in the present moment. Yet beneath all this movement lies the stillness of the spirit, a presence that never leaves, though we seldom notice it. The book explains that the mind is not our enemy, it is a bridge in waiting, yearning to reconnect with its source. The separation we feel between mind and spirit is an illusion created by misunderstanding. When we learn to align the two, our lives become an effortless flow of wisdom, creativity, and peace. Throughout the chapters, the author paints vivid metaphors and stories of people who rediscover this bridge within themselves. One story tells of a man named Daniel, who spent years chasing success in a noisy world, believing that achievement would quiet his mind. Yet the more he achieved, the louder his thoughts became. Anxiety haunted him, even in moments of triumph. His transformation began not through effort, but through surrender, when one day, exhausted, he sat in silence and whispered, "What if I stopped trying to control everything?" In that pause, a deeper awareness emerged. He began to feel rather than think, to listen rather than plan. It was then he discovered that his spirit had never been silent, it had simply been waiting for space to be heard. This is the essence of the book's message. The bridge between mind and spirit is built through awareness. Awareness is not another task to perform, it is the simple art of noticing without judgment. The author calls it, the light that joins worlds. When you become aware of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions, you no longer drown in them, you observe them. You begin to see that you are not your thoughts, you are the presence behind them. In this realization, the mind begins to soften. It starts to trust the guidance of the spirit, and life becomes more peaceful, yet more powerful. One of the most profound insights in the book is that the mind is meant to serve, not to rule. When it serves the spirit, it becomes a magnificent tool, capable of creating, planning, and building in harmony with purpose. But when it rules the spirit, it becomes restless, fearful, and disconnected. The author compares it to a river that has forgotten its source. Only when it remembers its origin in the mountain spring, the spirit, does it regain its clarity and flow. Through meditation, reflection, and conscious breathing, we can guide the mind back to its source. There's a beautiful passage describing how the bridge strengthens through practice. Every moment of stillness, every pause between thoughts, every breath taken in awareness, these are like stones laid across a river, forming a path from confusion to peace. With time, the bridge becomes strong enough to carry our entire life across it. We begin to think with the heart, and feel with the mind. The two merge into a single intelligence, what the author calls, the sacred union within. Real-life examples give this truth emotional depth. The book shares the journey of a woman named Alina, who suffered deep grief after losing someone she loved. Her mind was filled with questions: why did this happen? What could I have done? While her spirit whispered, let go. For months she resisted, unable to accept. But through meditation and journaling, she began to feel moments of grace, a quiet warmth in her chest, a sense that her loved one's essence was still near. Slowly, the questions dissolved, and peace entered. Her story reveals that healing begins not by silencing the mind, but by letting it rest in the presence of spirit. The author often reminds us that our thoughts are like clouds, temporary formations that pass across the sky of consciousness. Beneath them, the vast sky never changes. That sky is the spirit, spacious, eternal, untouched by the storms of emotion. When we realize this, we stop identifying with every passing thought or mood. We become grounded in something deeper, an inner calm that no circumstance can disturb. From that space, we begin to live more intentionally, to speak with kindness, to act with purpose. Another recurring theme is love, not the emotional love that fluctuates, but the unconditional love that arises from the spirit. The book teaches that when the mind and spirit align, love becomes our natural state of being. We no longer love because of what others do for us, we love because love is what we are. This awareness transforms relationships, dissolves conflict, and allows forgiveness to flow easily. As the author writes, when the mind listens to the heart, understanding replaces judgment, and connection replaces fear. There is also a strong practical side to this wisdom. The book offers gentle exercises, moments of awareness woven into daily life. For instance, before reacting in anger, the author suggests taking 3 conscious breaths and asking, "What is my spirit trying to express here?" Before making a decision, one can pause and listen, not to the noise of thought, but to the feeling of peace that follows truth. Over time, such small moments become powerful habits. They train the mind to yield to inner wisdom instead of outer pressure. The transformation that occurs through this practice is subtle but profound. You begin to notice that life unfolds with more grace. Synchronicities appear. Challenges no longer feel like punishments but invitations to deepen your awareness. Even failure takes on a new meaning, not as loss, but as guidance toward a higher path. This is the secret bridge in motion, the mind learning to see through the eyes of the spirit. As the book draws toward its close, it reveals the ultimate insight, that the bridge is not something we build, it is something we remember. It has always been there. The spirit never left us, the mind simply forgot. Every glimpse of stillness, every act of kindness, every surrender of control is a step back home. The author describes this realization as the awakening of inner unity. It is the moment we realize that our thoughts, emotions, and desires are not obstacles but instruments of divine intelligence when guided by awareness. The final chapters bring everything together in a powerful, poetic reflection. The author invites the reader to imagine standing at the center of this bridge, one foot in the world of form, the other in the world of spirit. From this sacred place, we learn to live consciously in both realms. We think, speak, and act with purpose, yet we remain anchored in peace. We chase no longer, we create. We worry no longer, we trust. The bridge becomes a way of life, a living relationship between human and divine. And as the book concludes, it leaves us with one gentle truth. The bridge between mind and spirit is love itself. When you love what is, when you trust the unseen, when you surrender the noise of fear to the silence of being, you are already walking the bridge. You are already home.